Welcome back, grappling fans. My name's John Evans, and thanks for joining me again today for another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament match. Today's match is going to be the second installment from the Brian Morizi Nogi Nationals series. If you haven't seen the first video, go ahead and check it out. I should have a link right about here. If you're on mobile, maybe it'll be in the description somewhere below. So go check that one out if you haven't already. And if you have seen it, you know how good Brian Morizi is, and you know that this second match should be really fun to watch. Let's go ahead and get right to it. And here we've got Brian in the Hyperfly shorts. He is closer to the camera here, and he's nice and low, sitting in his wrestler stance, but decides to jump right into guard, and his opponent is trying to tie up the legs. You always want to sandwich those knees together if you can. Brian really not letting that happen, kind of taking a half guard, but then looping this top leg over into a 3/4 guard. His opponent here has this arm in no man's land, and Brian is going to just grab his own shin, pull it over into omoplata, and he's holding on to his opponent's elbow here. His opponent's in a lot of trouble, but this is Nogi. It can get a little slippery, and there you see he gets right out, and this is before even they've broken into a sweat, so it's still dry. It should be a little bit easier to hold on to things, but there's just none of that friction that the gi gives you, and also you can't make a grip, really. You can just hold on to the arm. You can't grab anything with your fist. So here, his opponent settles back down into Brian's half guard. Brian doing pretty much the same thing. His opponent just gets that arm out of position over onto the side. He's treating this kind of like he wants to pass a butterfly guard with his elbows by the hips, but that's no good. If the person is good with omoplatas like Brian is a specialist at, then of course he's going to shoot that omoplata all day long, and that is what's happening right here. His opponent is somehow getting out of these omoplatas, mainly because it's Nogi, then jumps right to the side, and he staples this leg on the ground and has this other one over his shoulder as an underhook, which is an excellent way to start a pass. But Brian has excellent guard retention, and he is able to push away and get up to his feet. Here he settles down in, and that was really nice. He was going for a deep half, but then spins all the way under, and it's nearly like that Kiss of the Dragon reverse De La Riva back take. And his opponent seems to be a little bit worried after seeing how easily he spun under like that. That can be very dangerous. Clearly his opponent is giving him a little bit too much space to do that, and he's just kind of lucky that he didn't get caught there. But here he comes back into the closed guard, and he's still getting his hands out of position. I do not like this from the top person. There he steps out and tries to go knee through, and here he grabs this crossface, which can be very good to help pass. Brian tries to spin under one more time, but then comes up on a single leg. His opponent, not knowing what to do, nearly looks like he's going to jump on that guillotine, but then they go out of bounds. So I believe Brian will get maybe an advantage for that, but I'm not sure. The ref didn't indicate any points there or any advantage. It just made them slap hands, and they're going to start back in the center standing up. Brian sits right back down to guard, and he is butt scooting right to his opponent, which usually you have to make a grip before you can sit to guard, but I guess the ref is not telling Brian that he needs to do so. And here Brian has that reverse De La Riva grip, and he's grabbing underneath his shin, which will help him spin under the way he likes to do. But his opponent is able to staple that leg down to the ground and get his shoulder up under the hamstring of Brian. And now he can go into an over-under pass if he wants to. He can try for a leg weave pass, but Brian is able to hip out and get to his closed guard here. And this is just a completely different guard to pass, but his opponent is just not having a good time in the closed guard because Brian keeps breaking him down, and he keeps getting his arms out of position, and Brian goes right for omoplata every time. And it seems like his opponent is not learning from this mistake. Here, Brian opens up his guard, and his opponent just able to backstep out of that guard, which was actually a really nice pass. Trying for a leg drag there, pulls Brian's leg across his own waist, but Brian's able to recover by hipping out. Nice guard retention from Brian, and now he's sitting up, which is a favorable guard, especially in Nogi, but you really have to control the wrists of your opponent because they can jump right into a guillotine if they are standing up and you're on the ground. Here, Brian again going for this ankle, and this might seem like some 10th Planet Eddie Bravo meat hook, I don't know, New York, whatever he wants to call it, but in actuality, this is also just a normal setup for the omoplata, and it can be a very good setup, especially if you do it the way Brian's doing it, where you just grab the ankle, and you have to make sure you hook the hand over. But here, Brian spins right up, and he gets into a single leg again. His opponent still attacking with that guillotine. That seems to be his answer to that single leg, which is a decent answer if you can get it to go, but he just hasn't had any luck with it yet. Bryan now spinning under for the reverse de la Riva, and it looks like he's going to go on a knee bar here. He has this leg, but his opponent is able to bend it and able to get out, and they go right out of bounds. And wow, this is a fast-paced match. No stopping, but look at them. Neither of them even breathing that hard, so that just shows you what gamers they are. They came prepared, they are ready, and they are in cardio shape, and the ref wants them to both stand up, and they do so. Let's see, Bryan just right back to his game, back into sitting down, pulling that guard, but without grips, not getting any negative advantage, I don't believe, which is unusual. He should be. The ref should be telling him that he needs to make grips, or at least be giving him negative advantage and letting him know that it's because he's not making the grips while he sits down. His opponent here, now in a double unders pass, but Bryan keeping his knees nice and wide, able to escape from there and just grabbing his shin right here. And this is the setup that I like, where you grab your shin, you hook over, and then you can push away, and you hold on to the shoulder, and you really need to create distance here. You need to push them away. If they crowd you too much, it creates space, and they can pull their arm out. And here he flips his opponent onto his back, and this is a straight armbar. This is really, really tight, and then Bryan is able to pull the wrist out, and now he is just attacking that arm, but his opponent able to twist it up. Bryan trying for a front armbar there as his opponent came up, but his opponent able to scramble out of it. Nicely done. Really nice attack from Bryan, and he is just relentless, going right on it again, but a really nice escape from his opponent as well. Clearly, this is someone that is very tough to submit. Bryan has excellent submissions. There he spins all the way under. Looked like he's nearly going to go for an ankle lock. Decides to come up on the single leg. His opponent jumps right on top of him to keep him from coming up, and now he gets a very deep omoplata. This one might be the deepest one so far. Last time he kind of went on the straight armbar a little bit, but this one is a pure omoplata, and now he has this seatbelt grip across the front of his opponent's chest, and this is really, really worrisome for his opponent, because as you can see, even just the ref dragging him out here, you can see that shoulder starts to get torqued by Bryan's opponent. And what he wants to do here is he wants to keep the seatbelt grip and hip out, and you can see he's trying to do that. His opponent trying to relieve the pressure on his shoulder, just trying to scoop back, but now Bryan's able to put him down to the mat, and this can be even worse, but his arm looks like it's about to slip out. If Bryan can keep it in there, he will be in a good finishing position. As you can see, it's getting very torqued here. His opponent turning the wrong way. If you turn to your back, that's just gonna make it way worse. But if it slips out, then everything's okay, and you escaped danger there for a second. Live to fight another day, but here he tries to come to his knees, and Bryan throws a seatbelt, and he's just going to jump to take the back, trying to get this knee in the bottom there, and then you can throw the top hook, pull them over. Here he goes to the far side, and Bryan preemptively spins, which is exactly what you should do. And now he is on the back. He's going to get points for taking the back. And, oh, man, this is bad. Once you make that cross grip, that is terrible. You get up to the shoulder. If they can't pull it right across initially, wow, that is very surprising. Knowing how strong Bryan is, what a good athlete he is, getting that deep on a rear naked choke, typically that is going to be the end of the night for somebody. But his opponent is just very wily, sneaking out of all of these submission attempts, and they're going for another omoplata. His opponent gets out again. And now falling back on a footlock. I believe probably time's running out, but Bryan, as we saw from the first video, he is, oh, that was sick. Right there, he is very good at escaping these footlocks, and as his opponent tries to fall back to put the pressure on, Bryan just backsteps over that far leg and gets right out of the footlock. That was excellent. Now he's attacking Turtle here, and he's going to pull that knee over, put the hook in, but his opponent, sensing that, goes to his side. Bryan's just going to go to the far side with him, take the back, put the hooks in, and it looks like he has a rear naked choke right now. His opponent was able to escape one time. Let's see if he can do it again, but he's not moving too much, which is usually not a good indicator of an escape. Typically, then they are just waiting to tap, but he doesn't look like he's panicking too much, so Bryan might not have this. It looks like his opponent has slipped out, which is amazing. Bryan very wisely comes to the top, and now he's going to look to attack this on an armbar. Yes, and he flips his opponent right over. That is textbook. That was excellent, but time is up. I would like to say saved by the bell by his opponent, but he's such a good escape artist that maybe Bryan would have got that one, even though it was really, really slick. But Bryan there winning very cleanly by points, putting on quite a scorcher of a performance. So, man, his matches are just a joy to cast. Just watching that back and forth, just relentless, going for it. No one gets tired, just keep going. That is the caster's dream. So congrats to you again, Brian, and thank you guys for joining me again today. We will be back shortly with some more Brian Morizi videos, as well as some Isaac Doederling videos, which are phenomenal if you haven't seen them. So thank you guys for watching, and until next time, goodbye.